Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to our Gyan Jyoti online classes. So, today we will discuss about the fourth chapter of our economics book, and the chapter name is what? Globalization and the Indian economy. Okay, here is a term that is what? Globalization and the Indian economy. Means how globalization, okay, related to Indian economy, or you can say how globalization what give a impact on Indian economy. Got it? So let's start the chapter from the term globalization. What is globalization? Okay, what does it mean? So globalization is an economic process. Okay, it is a what? Economic process. It is a what? Economic process, where the economic, you can say, activities are performed by the nations. Okay? It is an economic process what associated with free movement of goods, technology, idea. Okay, free movement of good, technology, ideas, culture, and okay, let's try to understand the meaning of globalization. That it is an economic process associated with free movements of goods. Okay, the import and exports war. Okay, between the countries. Got it? Then technology. Okay, yes. So globalization, it is possible to share technologies what among the nations as well as ideas. Okay, like the foreigners, they are also working in our country, and our Indian people are also what work. You can say in foreign countries. Okay, that's why the ideas are also sharing between the nations. Okay, then cultures. Okay, nowadays in modern time, what we are the Indian people what follow the Western culture. Got it? So it is only possible by the process of globalization and people. Yes, the people are also traveled from different area to different area in different nations to different nations for what several work purposes. Got it? So what it is the process what globalization through what every nations of world are interrelated to each other. Got it? So in this chapter we will find out, you can say we will discuss about how globalizations what give impact in Indian economy, how globalization played, you can say, its role towards the Indian towards the growth of Indian economy. Got it? So let's discuss from the past the production across countries. Okay, here what we are discussing that it is the free movement of goods. It is the procedure of free movements of goods. Okay, so let's discuss about from the beginning that the production across country. Okay, production across country, that until the middle of the 20th century, okay, production was largely organized within countries. Colonies such as India export raw material and foodstuff and imported finished goods. Colonies during, you can say, mid of 20th century, the Britishers were ruled over India. Okay, so India was a colony of the Britishers. So colonies such as India export the raw material and foodstuff and imported finished goods. Like the Britishers, okay, they were collected cotton from the Indian farmers, indigo from the Indian farmers, okay, and they were, you can say, produced the finished goods in England, and they were, you can say, imported to India, okay, and sell the finished goods in the Indian market in very cheap rate. Okay, so many countries, okay, they were faced this type of problem. Got it? Then trade was the main channel connecting distant countries. It was done before large companies called multinational corporation or MNCs. Okay, the best example of multinational corporation, like you can say the Vivo company or the Oppo mobile phone company. Okay, you can say the branch of Vivo. Generally, Vivo company is associated in China. It is a Chinese company, but the branch of Vivo and Oppo company, okay, that are also, you can say, work in India. Okay, that company is known as what? Multinational company. That the branches of Vivo and Oppo mobile company, okay, that you can say spread all over the world. Okay, they work in different nations. Okay, that are known as what? Multinational companies. So trade was the main channel connecting distant countries from the beginning. Okay, trade what is the main branch? Trade is the main section, okay, which is connecting the countries. Got it? Then this was done before large companies called multinational companies emerged on the scene. Okay, then an MNC is a company that owns or controls production in more than one nation. What is MNC or multinational corporation, or you can say multinational company that what owns or control production in more than one nation. Okay, MNC set up offices and factories for production. Okay, in regions where they can get cheap labor and other resources. Okay, MNCs, yes, it is true and it is fact that MNCs set up is offices, or you can say factories or industries where they are able to find out what cheap labor as well as much more resources. The MNCs are set up there. Okay, then MNC are not only selling its finished product globally, but what more important, the goods and services are produced globally. Yes, it is also true that the goods and services are produced globally. Like services, like the call centers. Okay, call centers like Airtel company, Vodafone company, then Jio company, you can say what, Aircel company. Okay, the call centers are everywhere of the world. So the MNCs are not only produce what? Finished goods, but also what? Produce goods and services globally. Okay, then how, you can say, how what the globalization process, okay, interlinking the production across the what? Countries. Because what? The countries are able to what? Interlink to each other through which process? Through globalization process. So let's discuss how, what, through the globalization process the countries are interlinking to each other through production. Okay, in general, what? MNCs set up production where it is close to the markets, okay, where there are skilled and unskilled labor available at low cost, okay, and where the availability of other factories of production is assured. The money that is spent to buy assets such as land, building, machines and other equipment is called investment. Yes, the investment made by the MNC is called foreign investment. So basically what in globalization process the MNCs are played very important role, okay, to you can say to movement the goods, to produce the goods as well as to produce the services, and what joined or maintain a relationship between the two countries through the what production, through the services. Got it? So MNCs are established there where they are found both skilled and unskilled labor, and also the availability of resources what is impressed to the MNCs. Okay. After that, the benefit of the local company of such joint production is twofold. MNCs can provide money for additional investment like buying new machines for faster production. MNCs might what bring with them the latest technology for production. Okay, but the most common route for MNCs investment is to buy of local companies and then to expand productions. Okay, so you can say the economic sector of a nation, okay, it totally affected by a multinational company, because the multinational companies, okay, they are set up in different nations. Okay, you can say where the availability of resources is much, as well as they can found what low cost labor, and also they own what the small you can say the small companies of that area. Okay, and try to expand their business, try to expand their market in foreign countries. Okay, so you can easily say that not only Indian economy, okay, you can say not only Indian economy, but the economic sector of every nations, okay, affected by what MNCs or multinational companies. In the growth of a you can say in the growth of economic sector of a nation, okay, it depends upon on the MNCs, it depends upon on multinational corporation or multinational companies. Got it? Then MNCs are what exerting a strong influence on production at this distance locations. As a result, production in this widely what disparate location is getting interlinked. Got it? So through MNCs, through multinational corporation, okay, it is possible to maintain a relationship. What it is possible to interlinking the you can say interlinking the different countries of the world. Means what you can say that MNCs is a bridge. Okay, MNCs are the bridge, okay, between the countries of the world. Got it? Because MNCs not only provide goods all over the world, okay, these are also produced finished goods globally, as well as what regulated or maintained service sector globally. Got it? So MNCs are the bridge between the countries, and through the MNCs, the countries of the world, they are what interlinked or interrelated to each other. Okay? Okay? So what globalization? Through globalization, we are able, or you can say the nations, the countries are able to what interrelated through the economic sector to each other. Okay, and in that case the MNCs are played an important role to maintain the process of this economic process like globalization. Okay, and you can say they were made the foreign investment in different countries. So let's discuss about what are the advantages of foreign investment. Okay, what are the advantages of foreign investment? or you can say what? The merits of foreign investment. Okay, through the what? Through the procedure of foreign investment or foreign, you can say, trade has facilitated the travel of goods from one market to another market. Okay, through what? Foreign trade, it is possible to what? Movement of goods from what? One market to another market. From one market to another. It is only possible through what? Foreign investment or foreign trade. Okay, like what? We have found the Chinese product in Indian market. Okay, like in Chinese market, okay, the Indian spices are occupied the place, and it is only possible through the foreign investment, or you can say foreign trade. Okay, then it provides a choice of goods to the buyers. Yes, it is also fact. It provides a choice of goods. Okay, it provides, second, a choice of goods. It provides a choice of goods to the consumer. Okay, like suppose the Chinese bag. Okay, we can found in Indian market the Chinese mobile phone, Chinese bag, with every Chinese product, okay, is in cheap price. So people always attracted to the cheap product, okay, which are good in what? Quantity, but not in quality. But the foreign trade or foreign investment, okay, it provides a choice what? In front of the consumer about the goods. Got it? In market we can find out what? Many types of mobile. Got it? And they are from different, you can say, companies. So it is you can say easy for us to find out the best thing for us or for what? Own self. Got it? So it provides a choice in front of the customer, in front of the consumer about the goods. Next, third, producer of different what? Countries have to compete in different markets. Yes, it is also, you can say, advantage of foreign investment or foreign trade that there is a competition between the what? You can say company. There is a competition between the company. That's why what? They are eager to, you can say, produce best and you can say quality plus goods to you can say to the market. Okay, this competition, you can say, led the best things, led the production of best in, you can say, through the in the eye of quality. Okay, it is possible what? That the companies are forced to what? Create or forced to produce the best quality thing. Okay, and they are provided to the what? Customer. So the customer or the consumer takes benefit from the what? Trade competition between the what? Nations. Got it? Trade competition between the nation, between the company. Got it? And then prices of similar goods in two different two countries become almost equal. Okay? Prices of similar goods in two different countries become almost equal. Yeah, it is also fact that the prices of the same thing, okay, what? It is equal in different to market, because the quality of that product is same. That's why the prices, the rate, okay, the rate of that product is also equal. Got it? So these are the what you can say advantages of what foreign trade or foreign investment, okay, which are performed by you can say MNCs or multinational corporation, multinational companies. Okay. After that, what SEZ or special economic zone? What is special economic zone? After that, what SEZ or special economic zones. So what are special economic zones? That special economic zones are industrial zones being set up by the central and state government in different parts of the country. Okay. What special economic zones are to have world class facilities such as electricity, water, roads, okay, then transport, storage, recreational and educational facilities. Okay, so what the state government as well as the central government, okay, these government are set up what companies or industries, okay, which are provided the world class or qualitable you can say facilities to the nation, like in education field. Okay, many you can say Christian missionaries foundation, okay, they are you can say running the private schools in India. Okay, Indian government give permission to them. That's why they are provided you can say the quality education to the masses, to the children. Okay, we can take examples of what insurance companies also. Okay, LIC is one of the government organization. Okay, it under the supervision of government of India, but like the Mahindra Insurance, Bajaj Insurance. Okay, then after that the private banks. Got it? So you can say these companies or this industrial sector, okay, that are promised to the nation to provide world class facilities to a country. That's why the state government and the central government give the permission to them for the betterment of the what population of that country. Okay, in like what in electricity, in water section, in roads, in transport, okay, in educational facilities. So you can say that these are the special economic zones. Okay, because the MNCs or multinational companies, they always give importance to the SEZ or special economic zones. Then companies who set up production units in SEZ are exempted from taxes for an initial period of 5 years. SEZ thus help to attract foreign companies to invest in India. So what these special economic zones, okay, these are exempted to pay taxes to the government for only 5 years, and this you can say these schemes, okay, you can say the deep thing of this schemes that the for you can say to impress the what multinational corporation, to impress the MNCs to make a investment in that country. Got it? But it is also necessary, okay, but it is also necessary to put trade barriers over the MNCs. Put you can say put tariff barriers over the what MNCs or multinational corporations. Got it? Like if we found very, you can say, very poor product, okay, which are imported from China. Got it? Which are imported from China and available in Indian market. Got it? In a very cheap manner, in a very cheap price, but the quality of product is not good. But the product, you can say, by the cheap price, because the Chinese product, you can say, consumed by large number of Indian masses. Then what the China receive very economic, you can say very large economic benefit from the Indian market, but there is no quality of that product. So it is, you can say, it is the failure of the Indian people, it is the failure of the Indian sector, because they are able to get economic, you can say economic facilities from the India, but the people are not received the good quality product from China. Okay. But if Indian government put, you can say, trade barriers, okay, over Chinese product, okay, then the Chinese company, okay, or the multinational companies of China, okay, they are forced or they are pressurized by the trade barriers of the Indian government, and they are release the good quality product to the Indian market. Got it? So you can say it is very important to put trade barriers over the MNCs. So let's discuss about what are the reasons to put trade barriers over the MNCs. Okay, that the Indian government after independence had put barriers to foreign trade and investment. Put barriers means, you can say, taxes. Okay, taxes which are applied for import. You can say which are applied for import duty, import goods. Okay. So the government of India after independence had put barriers to foreign trade and investment. This was done to protect the producers within the country from foreign competition. Okay. Yes, it is also, you can say, maintained by the Indian government to protect the local companies from foreign investor, because the foreign you can say foreign investor or the MNCs are occupied the local companies of that area, okay, and expand their business. So it is also necessary to put trade barriers over MNCs, over foreign investors, to protect the local companies. That's why the government of India put tariff barriers over the MNCs or multinational corporations who are work in Indian market. Okay. Then industries were just coming up in the 1950s and 1960s, and competition from imports at the stage would not have allowed these industries to develop and grow. Imports of only essential items such as machinery, fertilizers, petroleum, etc. was allowed. Then second, the protect the Indian economy from foreign infiltration in industries affecting the economic growth of the country, as Plan India wanted to move faster to catch up with the main industries in the world market, and therefore had to keep an extra watch on its progress in international trade and give incentives to the more rapidly growing industry through fiscal, tariff and other means. So it is also necessary to protect the, you can say, local industries, local companies, and also provided them the, you can say, facility. Also it is the responsibility of the government to provide us facility to the local company, okay, to the, you can say, our own company. Okay, that's why you can say they are more progressive than the foreign investor. If we are give more chances to foreign investor or MNCs in the Indian market, then they you can say they will receive all the credits of Indian market, and what they you can say they will get all the economic credits of Indian market. That's why it is necessary to put trade barriers, to put you can say tax overload, okay, over the MNCs or multinational companies, or you can say foreign investor, to protect the industrial sector of India, to protect the Indian you can say market, okay, and also provided facilities to the Indian entrepreneur, to provided facilities to the Indian industrialist, local companies, okay, and help them to what you can say help them to produce more goods in the sector of produce more good, because they are also played an important role for the economic or the growth of you can say for the growth of as well as for the development of Indian economic sector, okay. So after 1991, okay, some changes were made in policy by the Indian government, okay, in the you can say in the category of tariff barriers, okay, over the foreign trade, over the foreign investor. Some changes are you can say are implemented, okay, or some changes were occurred by the Indian government, okay, in the field of tariff barriers, as it was decided that the time had come for the Indian producer to compete with foreign producers, okay. This would not only help the Indian producer to improve their performance, but also improve their quality, okay, to improve their quality, okay, to improve their you can say market conditions. What the policies were changed by Indian government, okay, in the field of foreign investors, okay, and it was only on to what gave facility to what the local companies, gave facility to the local investors. That's why the government of India what changed its policy towards the what business sector, market sector, okay. After that, here is a term that is what liberalization, okay. Here is a term that liberalization. So let's discuss what is liberalization. That liberalization means the removal of barriers and restrictions set by the government on foreign trade. Government use tariff or trade barriers to increase or decrease or regulate what foreign trade to protect the domestic industries from foreign competition. Got it? So liberalization means, in simple sentence you can say, remove the tariff barriers, remove the tax burden over the what foreign investors. Got it? This is the you can say meaning of liberalization. Got it? Here is the example that tax on imports around 1991, government India adopted the policy of liberalization. Yes, to you can say to maintain Indian market, okay, or to you can say to provide all type of goods, all quality of goods to the Indians. What the Indian government, what you can say accepted what the policy of liberalization, okay. But now, okay, it is also in you can say what the news are going on that what India also you can say put tariff barriers over the Chinese companies, because what they you can say the Chinese companies or the foreign investors of China, okay, they take much more benefit from the Indian market. That's why what in the case of China you can say the government what take very strict policies. But what by 1991 the government of India also what believe also you can say implemented or accepted the policy of liberalization, where what there is no strict, or you can say there is no strict rules and regulations of free movements of goods in Indian market. This procedure is known as what? Liberalization. Okay, if a country wanted to, you can say, maintain a good relationship, good trade relationship with India, then you can say, then that company will receive what? The liberalization policy of Indian government, and what spread their market in India, what also what sell their product in Indian market. Got it? After that, what is this trade? Okay, this international trade. Got it? Which organization, okay, is control this foreign trade between the countries? Okay, which organization? So WTO, or World Trade Organization. Okay, WTO, or World Trade Organization, was under the supervision of World Trade Organization. Every foreign trades, okay, every foreign trade works are performed under the supervision of World Trade Organization. And what? WTO was started as the initiative of the developed countries. Its main object is to liberalize international trade. Okay, the main objective or main aim of the WTO, or World Trade Organization, to what? Maintain, you can say, to liberalize international trade between the countries. Got it? It is the main function of the WTO, or World Trade Organization. Every type of trading work, okay, it is, you can say, performed under the supervision of WTO, or World Trade Organization. Got it? After that, privatization. That privatization means transfer of ownership of property from public sector to private sector. Like the Jio company, okay, it is, you can say, headed by what? Mukesh Ambani. Got it? So it is, you can say, private sector. But the iron and steel, you can say, authority of Reliance. Suppose we can take example of iron and steel authority. Okay, it is a public sector because it is you can say running by the government of India. Okay, so in that case, what? The public sector, and also you can say the private sector. Okay, also you can say give a positive what impact in the sector of a what? Sector of a country. Got it? So in India, the public sector and the private sector, which is known as what? The privatization of Indian government, that a person can able to maintain a private, you can say, company, you can say maintain a what? Private sector under him or her. But it is also important that private sector also play an important role for the development of an economic sector of a nation, of a country. Got it? Then after that, yes, the economic reforms are always, you can say, the economic changes, the policy of, you can say, to policy, you can what? To policy for the development of what? Economy. Okay, it always changes. The government of India always what? Changes, or you can say changing the policy of economic sector. Okay, to what? Give a what? To give a picture to the economic sector of India. So many policies, okay, are changing by government of India for the development of economic sector. Got it? That the last thing, that which are the factors, okay, which help in the procedure of globalization. Got it? Which are the factors, okay, which related to what? Globalization, had to maintain the economic, you can say, process like globalization. What are the factors? That the first is technology. Rapid improvement in technology has contributed greatly towards globalization. Then second, development in information and communication technology has also helped a great deal, okay, telecommunication facility, telegraph like telephone, mobile phones, okay, fax are now used to contact one another quickly around the world. Like if India wanted to some product from America, okay, then it is not necessary to the Prime Minister to go to America and set up an assembly there for about 3 or 4 days. Okay, what the Prime Minister can, you can say, communicate with the President of America through the mobile phones, through the email, okay, through any official object. So it also help the process to running the process of globalization of all over the world. Okay, the information and technology as well as the telecommunication. Okay, then the information technology has also played an important role in spreading out production of services across countries. Orders are placed through internet, okay, designing is done on computers, okay, even payment for designing and printing can be arranged through internet. So you can say the internet facilities or the information technology is one of the great, okay, factors that help the growth of globalization process all over the world. Okay, so technology, the simple thing that the technology, through the technology, the economic process like globalization, where it is associated with free movements of good, ideas, cultures, technologies, as well as people. Okay, and it is only on through the information technology or IT industries. Got it? So globalization always played an important role not only in the field of Indian economy but also in the field of in the field of economic of every country all over the world. Got it? So this is the relation of globalization with the Indian economy. Through the globalization, okay, now the Indian economy is going on in a developing way, okay, in a increasing way, and it is only possible through the economic process like globalization. Okay, this is all about this chapter. I hope you all understood this chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.